in the comments. And speaking of backlash and speaking of AEW, it leads us to Ricky Starks. So Ricky Starks was backstage at the Royal Rumble with Cody Rhodes. Those of you who know Ricky Starks know that him and Cody Rhodes are very good friends. A lot of their friendship was documented in the previous reality show, Rhodes to the Top. And both Cody and Ricky have made podcast appearances since then to discuss the incident. But Ricky kind of made his stance very clear. He said, listen, Cody Rhodes is my friend. All right. And when you're my friend, I'm going to ride for you. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to support you. And I don't really care about all the tribalism between WWE fans and AEW fans, because at the end of the day, you're my friend. So I want to know, how do you feel about the incident? Should it even be an incident in the first place? Like, what's your take on Ricky Starks' kind of comments? All that. I want to know.
He sounds like a level-headed adult.
Yeah.
This little war between AEW and WWE, that's just like for the fans. And that's like more so like the insane fans that still think that this is like WWE or WWF versus WCW. Like it's not that. Maybe it is for like the companies themselves, but like the talents themselves, they're just regular ass people that grew up watching wrestling this like you and I, but they're in the business, they're in the know, and their friends are everywhere. Like they came up on like the indie circuit and shit, meeting
Right.
all types of people, all types of friends that are dispersed everywhere. You know what I mean? What company that they're designated in will not dictate their friendship. And I find it weird that he would even receive this type of backlash, considering that y'all see Bailey and Naomi travel for Sasha to New Japan. Now, granted, I know that WWE and New Japan aren't against each other, but New Japan collaborate with AEW. Therefore, if you guys are going off of this whole war theory, shouldn't you not like them because they're on the quote unquote opposing team if they go travel across, continents? I don't know. To me, it's just you guys are very selective on who you guys want to pick on, but then hush about others, and I just find it just very weird. Like, he's a friend. That's his friend. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to support him. There's probably other wrestlers that do the same thing too. It's just probably not reported, but it's
Mm-hmm.
it's such a regular thing to do. Like they're close friends. You're going to support your friend on what they do, regardless wherever they go, because it's not about where they're making their money. Is my friend happy and healthy, and they feel financially secured and just again emotionally, mentally secured where they're at. That's what a good friend does. So I don't think Ricky Starks is a bad person here. If anything, this makes me like him even more
Mm.
because he's sensible. He's sensible. He's caring. Yeah, he's here for the fans, but a fan that really does care wants to see their favorite wrestlers happy too by any means. And if that's what makes him happy, then y'all should just roll with it. What do you think?
I agree with you. So I'm gonna make a couple points, right?
Yeah.
I believe that the tribalism in wrestling dehumanizes wrestlers. This idea of being radical about WWE and being radical about WWE has put, I don't even want to say wrestlers in a position, because I feel like a lot of the individual wrestlers are going to do what's best for them and their families, and rightfully so. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this whole idea of like, you should just be AEW, you should just be WWE, has dehumanized wrestlers, because it is, in the fan's mind, it delegitimizes the reasons for so many friendships, for so many connections and relationships that have happened before there was a WWE AEW rivalry, whatever the case may be. And you got to understand, is like, Cody Rhodes played a significant role in the life of Ricky Starks. There's a very big chance that without Cody Rhodes, Ricky Starks wouldn't be in AEW. So if my bro got me my job, you best believe I'm supporting. I'm going all out. When it's his time to be lifted and supported, I'm going to support him. And I 100% stand behind Ricky Starks, bro. I don't care who you're a fan of. This is my dog. At the end of the day, this man helped put me in a position where I could put food on my plate, a roof over my head, clothes on my back. So if it's time to support him, I'm going to support him. And I just think that ultimately we just have to keep that in mind, that this I feel like this incident overall just shows how toxic the tribalism in wrestling is. Because like you said, why can't people just support people and it not mean anything more? Like we saw Bailey and Naomi supporting Mercedes. And I feel like this got a little bit more backlash. I feel like this got a little bit more backlash because um Ricky Starks was getting a big push in AEW. Like obviously he's hot off his feud with Jericho. And Cody Rhodes is, he's about to win the world title at Mania. And I feel like both of them are in a little bit of a slightly different spotlight than Mercedes Moné was, or even Bailey or Naomi is, considering that Naomi isn't. We don't know if Naomi's a free agent. We don't know if she's still wrestling. We know Bailey is doing her thing, but I just feel like this whole idea of tribalism in wrestling, I feel like is just so toxic and poisonous, because I feel like there have been times where both sides have said, yo, I got friends in AEW. I got friends in WWE. And I just think that because of that, we just need to lay off this whole idea of like friends being unable to support friends because they work for a different company. I think it's just weird and it's just dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird. But that's just where I
I just
stand
don't
on
think
it.
there's a war. I just don't think there's really a war. I feel like in all actuality, these companies are kind of like somewhat in bed with each other to a degree, and they are playing off of that
Hmm.
with the fans. But I don't think realistically anyone really is at war with WWE. And if you are at war with WWE or AEW, um, it's usually the people who just went to AEW because they, obviously didn't have a good run with WWE and they still feel some type of way. But I mean, as per Ruby Soho, I just made up a name, y'all.
I was about to say,
Um,
who is Sobe?
the the I don't even know how I came up with that. Ruby Soho, y'all. Um, I mean, as per her promo from last night when she went in on the AEW fans on how they rejected her, which it was kind of realism. Let's be
True.
honest, what she
True.
used. Those are the only people that I would feel like would actually feel some genuine way towards um WWE, would have this war thing in their head. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I personally don't really see a war. I see like the companies and themselves having competition with each other, but I don't even truly think that they're at war. And therefore, why as fans do we have to take it so personal? Like,
Mm.
we're not getting paid for this shit. We're just watching, you know? I think that's just weird. Like, if they're not concerned, like the wrestlers aren't concerned, then we shouldn't be concerned. I know that's how they set it up in the beginning, because how else are you going to get a company to pop off without controversy? But I don't
Hmm.
think realistically anyone is sitting here like mad, like walking around with a flag, pro AEW. Like, it's just like, hey, I'm here. I'm happy. I have a job. I like what I'm doing. I hope my homies over there like what they're doing. Like, they probably all link up when the cameras go off and try to fly out to Florida or wherever the fuck.
Right.
I don't know. I just think this is just corny. This is lame. Lay off my boy Ricky. Like, he really doesn't do anything wrong. Like, he really is just a vibe. And I love
Right.
how outspoken he is, because he kept his energy for years.
Hmm.
Like, check this man's Twitter. This man's so funny. He will give it right back. He will give
Right.
it right back. So I like the fact that he makes a stance and he's ten toes down with everything. So that's all I gotta say on it. Leave him alone.
I was gonna say it, like I was once again. I would talked about this book in the past, but I'm reading a book called The 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. One of the principles is the law of fellowship, which is that if you are the dominant brand, you're going to welcome smaller brands because the competition is going to boost consumption. And so a lot of y'all think that cats are at war, when in reality it's the illusion of war that's making you pick a side, because you wouldn't have picked a side or would have been engaged if people didn't give off the perception that they're competing. So a lot of y'all cats think that
Mm-hmm.
there's a war and really y'all just falling into a trap. But that's another conversation for another day. We want to know how y'all feel, so just leave your comments below about how you feel about this Ricky Starks, Cody Rhodes situation. Shout out to our guy, Ricky Starks, because that boy is 10 toes. Anyway, we're going to go on to the last segment,